We are going to discuss the reasons why the demand from short sellers for AMC shares is increasing sharply, the reasons why major players are uncomfortable with increased transparency systems, the ways in which institutions are behaving despite heavy losses, and the reasons why certain price levels are becoming increasingly dangerous for short positions, all while maintaining a firm foundation in the data and information that is readily available to the public. First things first, let's talk about short interest because this is where everything else starts, beginning with the foundation. The stated short interest rate has recently increased to approximately 26.11%, with approximately 120 million shares being sold short and approximately 197 million shares being loaned out at the moment, respectively. At the same time, utilization is currently at 100%, which strongly suggests that there are a limited number of shares available for loan. When usage hits this level, it often suggests that short sellers are actively contending for access to shares, and that demand on their side is increasing rather than dropping. This is because short sellers are able to get shares more quickly. The timing is what makes this even more interesting than it already is. It is not during a collapse that this surge in short interest occurred. Rather, it occurred when AMC was attempting to climb upward. In addition to this, we have witnessed stress in broader markets, which includes margin pressure associated with precious metals such as gold and silver, which has historically had an effect on the collateral values held by significant institutions. As the value of collateral decreases, pressure increases, and when this occurs, positions that are excessively leveraged become more susceptible to instability. This situation naturally heightens a sense of urgency that short sellers feel to acquire shares whenever those shares are available. The numbers that have been presented reveal that there has been a significant increase over the course of time. While the value of shares that are being borrowed has climbed by approximately 398%, short interest has increased by more than 126%. It is essential that this area be made clear. The numbers presented here are based solely on the data that has been disclosed, and the structure of the market allows for a number of procedures that can prevent the complete picture from ever being shown to the public. Because of factors such as self-reported disclosures, delayed reporting, and offshore short positions, the information that we are currently observing is most likely the minimum rather than the maximum. Therefore, the mere fact that we see a rise in short interest despite these limits is sufficient evidence that pressure is already increasing. In addition, it raises concerns regarding synthetic exposure and activity that has not been documented. Despite the fact that it is impossible to prove an exact multiplier, the past has demonstrated that stated estimates frequently underestimate the actual exposure by a significant amount. It is not the size of the disparity that is important. Rather, it is the trend itself that is significant. Rates of interest on loans are still another crucial indicator. While it's true that the interest rates on loans now might not be as high as they were in the past, the direction in which they are moving is what matters the most. Rates have been steadily increasing, and historically speaking, this upward movement has been associated with an increase in the amount of borrowing activity. Even in situations where it appears that interest rates on loans are being artificially lowered, such as through techniques such as tokenized liquidity, the consistent increase indicates that demand is still on the rise. Even when interest rates are low, this does not mean that borrowing has halted. The opposing hypothesis is substantially supported by rising rates. Having said that, let's talk about institutions, since the way they behave reveals a tale that many headlines choose to ignore. It has been alleged that large holders such as Vanguard control tens of millions of AMC shares and are currently sitting on losses that surpass 40% based on average cost estimates that are somewhere in a range of $10. Under typical conditions, losses of that magnitude could potentially result in the inception of liquidation. As an alternative, filings have demonstrated a continuous accumulation. Deliberate choices are being made by institutions that are experiencing losses but have chosen to increase their exposure anyway. Furthermore, this decision is based on long-term conviction rather than on the fluctuation of prices in the near term. When juxtaposed with narratives that claim AMC does not have a future, this becomes even more apparent. It seems more likely that huge institutions would be leaving rather than expanding if the future were genuinely as gloomy as some people perceive it to be. It is not known if these stakes are supported by lending revenue or by a long-term strategy. However, it is evident that the selling pressure that was anticipated from these holders has not occurred. The list of publicly declared funds that have short positions is getting smaller, despite the fact that short interest rates are continuing to rise. This is another important factor. To the naked eye, something seems to be in conflict with itself. Why is there an increase in total short interest when there are fewer funds that are short? This mismatch adds fuel to the fire of worries regarding the transparency of data and the accuracy of reporting. It seems to imply that although some minor participants may have left, positions that are larger or more complicated continue to be possibly concealed through reporting systems rather than being closed. This viewpoint is further supported by the action in dark pool. Recent sessions have revealed that more than 80% of trade volume takes place off exchange, with tens of millions of shares avoiding venues that are available to public. On certain days, more than 34 million shares were diverted away from the public price discovery process, allowing only a small fraction to have an effect on the price that is visible to the public. In situations where such a significant proportion of volume is concealed, the dynamics of supply and demand are unable to fully demonstrate themselves. There is a tendency for this amount of off-exchange activity to increase during times of more upward pressure. A quick shift in volume away from lit exchanges appears to be triggered by even very minor gains, which appears to trigger defensive positioning. The suppression mechanisms become more active whenever there is even a 10% or 20% attempt to alter the price. It appears from this that particular price levels may significantly raise the risk associated with short positions, even in the absence of strong price movements. Throughout the course of history, quite little recoveries have been sufficient to double the amount of losses for leveraged holdings. Even in the absence of speculative extremes, movements back toward past price zones have the potential to drastically alter risk profiles on a global scale. Transparency methods, such as unified audit trails, have found themselves in the center of controversy for this reason. Previous examples have demonstrated protracted periods of time during which there were no shares available for borrowing, extended threshold listings, and a significant number of shares that were unable to be located in the appropriate manner. Those entities who gain from opacity would naturally oppose the implementation of systems that are meant to track this activity in a more transparent manner. Even while they are unable to overcome structural interference on their own, technical indicators can nonetheless provide insight into sentiment when viewed from a broader viewpoint. Despite the fact that certain setups indicate an improvement in sentiment and possible momentum, the effectiveness of these setups is limited by price suppression and volume redirection. When the data that is used in technical analysis is corrupted, the results become unreliable. Technical analysis is dependent on transparent data. Nevertheless, sentiment indicators continue to be helpful tools for contextual analysis. When the fundamentals of the company are considered, the financial performance of AMC has demonstrated a progressive improvement throughout the entirety of the fiscal year. The quarterly revenue showed a minor change in the previous year, but the annual revenue climbed, and the net losses continue to decrease. There is still a significant amount of cash reserves, which are sustained in part by the sale of assets and strategic investments. Additionally, exposure to precious metals through holdings such as High Raft presents the possibility